Okay, so welcome to this meeting, to this Satsang gathering. So Satsang is a place, opportunity to explore whatever questions you may have, and also to be together in peace and presence, a recollection of our true nature, recollection of what we truly are. So I welcome you to this lovely sharing. And if you have any questions, as you know, you're welcome to pose them by writing them in the chat box, or by just posing whatever questions you may have live. So the teaching is very simple. It's about peace and happiness, and it's about the ending of the unhappiness in our life, the ending of, yes, the misery that we all know. So if you have any questions, we can look into them.
Magdi.
Hello, Maru.
How are you?
Good, very nice. Good to see you, Maru.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Beautiful.
Maybe you can talk about attention in this sense that I noticed that I say, okay, I'm going to pay attention to what's going on in my body, and then the attention goes to somewhere else, and then it comes back, and then it goes again. So it's like, can you just make a comment about that? How is it? Why does that happen, or how is it?
Mm-hmm. So sometimes we need to pay attention, Maru. For example, when we are crossing the street, it's a good idea to look to the right, look to the left, make sure that the road is clear. When we have a certain task to accomplish, we're writing a paper or we're cooking a meal, then attention is required. How much water we put, how much spices we put, and how long we have the heat on under the meal. So this sort of attention is towards a certain task, and it has a certain, let's say, purpose or objective, and the purpose and the objective is a reasonable one in the preservation and in the maintenance of our body, in our experience, and in our life, our relationships, etc. When we have an appointment, it's a good idea to maybe have a timer to remember, so that you don't inconvenience other people, and so that you're able to live, smoothly as possible in your life. So attention is sort of a direction. Consciousness sort of looks at a certain event, a certain world, body, mind event, and it sort of highlights certain aspects of this event, which is essential for the performance of the task. But outside of that, attention is an open field. It's an open space. Yes? So the necessity of attention is short-lived. Once attention is applied to a certain activity, you pay attention, you perform the activity via your attention, and once that activity is accomplished, is completed, you don't need to continue to pay attention. And once you're cooking a meal and the meal is cooked, you don't need to keep on coming to the kitchen every 5 minutes to check, because the meal is cooked, it's finished, and it's ready. Then you forget about the meal you were cooking. And now you're resting, maybe you're enjoying the dinner, or you're just resting after dinner. So it's important to understand that this sort of attention is a natural process that relates to a smooth way of living. Yes? But beyond that, it is not necessary. Now, when you are paying attention to your thoughts, for example, which is a way of a contemplation, you're paying attention. There's some meditations that are like that. You're paying attention to the thoughts that have in them ignorance. The thoughts that have in them the belief that I am a person, that I am a mortal body mind, that I'm an object in time and space. This sort of attention, this sort of meditation practice that pays attention to the I thought is helpful in that it sort of sheds the light on the ignorance part in our life, on the me impression that arises in the thoughts. And it also, the attention also doesn't just shine onto the I thought, the me thought. Tara, if you can help me with muting some of the background sound. Thanks. It also sheds attention on the, thank you, on the feeling state. Because when there is the thought of, oh my God, I am failing in my life, or I am not loved, or these sorts of me thoughts, or I keep trying to make things happen and things don't happen. These sorts of thoughts that have me in them, there is also an element of a feeling, a me feeling, an unhappy feeling. So the attention is not just onto the thought, but it's also onto the feeling. Now, it's important when you are, let's use the term paying attention, there's a common term used, paying attention to your thoughts and to, of course, the feelings. It is important that you don't try to fix anything. Because behind the intention to fix or to improve or to have a better experience, there is a person. This sort of intention is a personal intention. And personal intentions maintain the person. They seem to be holy, they seem to be spiritual, but they are an attempt to maintain a personal experience. There's a fear behind a personal intention. There is a concern, maybe fear of losing something, you see. So the openness of attention is like an open space. Like right now, for example, there is attention in that the words are being heard. There is an understanding of the words. The perception is being perceived. There is a recognition of the perception. And the whole process is effortless. It is effortless because attention is present, and attention is sort of part of presence. So presence and attention are inherent. You could refer to that as an inherent witnessing, that consciousness has a witnessing quality. Or you could use the term a welcoming quality. It's an openness. Yes? So an attention that is an open field of attention doesn't have a personal intention. It rests in attention, it rests as attention. It's a different thing from tracking your thinking or tracking your feeling because you don't like them. Because when you are tracking them because you don't like them or you're judging them, you are not being clean in your presence. You are subconsciously agreeing that whatever you are witnessing can harm you and that you need to fix it. In fact, that's an assumption. That's a belief that your thoughts can hurt you or harm you. And it's a correct belief when you believe that you are the body-mind. So it's one belief that feeds upon another. When you believe you are the body-mind, then the thoughts about what a failure I am, for example, the body feels that thought in the belly, in the face, in the throat, in the brain. The body expresses that thought as bodily sensations. And if there are a lot of negative thoughts, then the breathing is shallow. The heartbeat is not peaceful. And in the long term, the body will experience some disease. But that's at the body level. Believing that you are the body, what comes with that is the belief that the thoughts that are just simply arising and that are arising in awareness. The belief is that those thoughts are going to hurt me, the body. In fact, they do affect the body, but the belief that I am the body, that is a core limiting, unhappy belief that most of us suffer from this belief. And we know the consequences of this belief. So about attention, coming back to your question, let's say that when attention is coming from a personal intention, meaning from the belief that I am a person, then the attention is not pure. It has a mission. It's not peaceful. And it's trying to get somewhere. While the attention that is the natural aware space has no personal intention. Also, attention has, this is something you need to look at, a subject and an object, which is fine when you are driving a car on the highway or on the road. You need to pay attention to the traffic, so it's fine. There is a subject and there are objects. But that's a very limited aspect of this dynamic. This dynamic has to do with world, body, mind functioning. But at the psychological level, there is no need for attention. Contemplation is like a noticing that awareness is a reality of our experience. It's a form of remembrance. First, we have to sort of notice it. We notice that I am aware, that there is awareness, and that awareness is what is I, is this awareness. Say, I am aware. And then the next thing is to notice that the I that is aware, this I, you cannot find it as an object. You can find a hand as an object, you can find a perception, you can find a thought, you can find a sensation, but you cannot find I as an object. So I as awareness is formless. So the noticing is that there is a formless reality, which is the reality of awareness, and that is borderless, has no borders. It's effortless. And this is what we refer to as I. It refers to itself as I. That's not paying attention. It's not like an attention. It's a simple noticing. Like you notice, for example, when you look at the tree, you notice, oh, a tree with a palm tree or an oak tree. It's just a simple noticing. So you notice that awareness is, that it is via awareness. That awareness is the reality of everything. Everything that I experience, everything that I conceive of. I conceive through it I conceive it via awareness. So you notice the primacy of awareness. So you may not need attention in focusing onto something. Because what is it that would focus? That is an interesting question. What is it that is paying attention? You say, I am paying attention. Beautiful. What is this I? When we say I, because nobody forces us to say I, we say, oh, I'm paying attention. It's normal. We all say that. I am paying attention. So it makes sense, because we say I pay attention, it makes sense to know what is this I. Yes, makes sense. So we say, oh, well, what is this? What do we mean by I? So it's a question that we ask ourselves. When we ask ourselves this question, we enter into contemplation of the self. So when we ask this question, what is it that perceives? There may be all sort of thoughts that arise to us, saying, oh, it's me, woman, a man, I'm born such and such a year, I have brothers, sisters, blah, blah, I am born in this country. But all these things that are arising are thoughts. And they're arising to whom? To what? You see? See, these are interesting. I think that I am a woman, but this is a thought that's arising to I. So am I the thought that is arising that says I'm a woman? Or am I the I that perceives this thought? You see? I say, there is something that perceives this thought that says I am a woman, but that something is not a woman. There's no word for it. Well, why should we say awareness? There is no, it's not a phenomenal thing. Yes. So you say, it's awareness. We say it's awareness. It's okay. It's just, we say awareness. The fact of awareness is beyond the word. We use this term awareness to point to an actual experience, to the knowingness, the knowing of knowing. Knowing that I means knowingness. So it's knowing itself.
Yeah, it's very clear. I have some other stuff to say, but I some noise here, so I'll talk to you about it later. But thank you very much.
Okay, Maru. Okay, beautiful. Okay, Maru. Okay. Hello, Maria. Maria, you're right. I have been asked to share mindfulness, non-judgmental attention with teenagers. Could you give me some pointers as of how to integrate with this teaching? So teenagers, I don't know, it's hard to sort of make some general statements about teenagers. I recall when my kids were teenagers, I have sort of a vague recollection of them being teenagers. They were pretty wise. I don't recall sharing any mindfulness with them, but what's beautiful about being with people, in this case being with teenagers, is that you are a living example. How you are, how you listen, how you interact. So is mindfulness in simply being together. There is a way of being in company of with friends that is free and happy and loving and not trying to do anything, really. Not it's actually it's a non-trying and you have to also listen to what they're interested in. Because the way maybe you can teach mindfulness, well, using the word teach mindfulness, is by being mindful of where they're at, what speaks to them, what they feel like exploring, and also being mindful as you are sharing with them whatever you are sharing with them, being mindful of whether they're receiving it and how they're receiving it. Because you may, if you're moving too fast, you may slow down, or even if you notice that there isn't much of a receptivity, then there is no sense to continue with teaching them mindfulness. So the way you share mindfulness, I think, by being mindful yourself. So you're mindful of what you're sharing, and you're also mindful of what is appearing, what is being shared with you, because it goes both ways. It's not just, you know, in one direction. What I have noticed, you know, in my interactions with teenagers, which is very brief, really, mostly was with my kids, and they were very wise, both of them. I think overall they pretty impressive. Is that overall, teenagers aren't that interested in mindfulness. It's a more mature, more ripe, a riper, let's say, riper mind that may be open to the contemplation of mindfulness. And actually, I don't know what mindfulness is. I mean, consciousness is open, is an openness. It's a natural, effortless openness. So to try to be mindful, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, I don't. There's a listening, of course. Listening is very beautiful because there is a space of listening. And when I say listening, I mean listening within oneself, all that's arising within oneself, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, and also listening to whatever is appearing in your space, in your interactions, in your relationships. So the listening is really beautiful because in listening, you have to sort of pause your person. You have to let your person sort of settle. And as your person settles, there is just a listening space. And then when your person arises, then you have all the stuff, your belief, your opinions, your ideas, it's like this, it's not like that. And again, when you notice that your person sort of settles, rests, there is a listening space. So listening is in a way a non-person, it's a non-personal, it's a non-person and a non-activity, because activities, when they come from a person, they have a direction, a force behind them. But when they come from no mind, you can't even refer to them as activities. So mindfulness is maybe a mind emptiness, not a mindfulness. So I would say that mindfulness is mind emptiness. Yes? An emptiness of the mind and the open heart, openness of being. The openness of being is our natural state. Yes, a natural, loving state. Of course, it's often very difficult for us to be open because we have personal concerns. There are some things we're trying to protect. Maybe an image we're trying to protect, or something that we believe is important for me, the person. So to be open, you have to sort of rest your person. You have to trust that, okay, your person is not needed. that there is an effortless, loving space of being, of presence. And that is the true mindfulness, which is an emptiness, mind emptiness. So the greatest, if you want to say, mindful act you could do is to love. And to love a certain freedom is required. You can't love and at the same time not be free, because when you are not free, you want your freedom. So you love because you want to get something that expresses your freedom, that makes you experience your freedom. But your freedom, the freedom that you attain or that you experience via a loving activity, that freedom and that joy depends on that activity. And hopefully that activity will bring you the happiness that you are seeking, the freedom that you are seeking, the joy that you are seeking. But it may not. And even if it gives you the joy and the freedom that you are seeking, it may not deliver it forever. But there is a freedom that is completely independent, completely independent of anything, that does not depend on anything. And that freedom, nobody can give it to you or take it away from you. Nothing can bring it to you or take it away from you. And that freedom, we celebrate it. We celebrate it in the joyful activities in our life. The joyful activities in our life are not trying to get us something. They're not trying to improve us. They're not trying to make me a better person. It's a complete expression of our love, the inherent love that we are. I think I have gone very far away from your question, Maria, but no, okay, so you say so. It's really like mindlessness. Yes, mindless, less mind instead of mindfulness. Yes, no mind. Yes, heartfulness. Yes, heartfulness is our natural heart. Is heartfulness. Heart is a fullness. Heart is fullness. Heart is joy. Is happiness. Is bounty. Is bountiful. Is limitless. It's conditionless. Yes, heart. Yes, heart. Beautiful. So with the teenagers, what's very beautiful how to be with them is that you don't know. You meet them with the I don't know mind, the not know mind, not know mind. It does not matter which way it goes. It does not matter if they're gonna love it or not love it. Just be the not know. Not know, and you allow the flow. Not allow, it flows. There is a flow that comes through you when you are out of the way. Yes, but it's all play, and it's all about enjoyment. celebration, fun, and loving company. So enjoy this journey, enjoy this contemplation. I am sure that they will find some, they will find the beauty that's in your heart, and that's really what matters. Everybody's talking about mindfulness in school. I see. Okay, I've been away from school, so about paying attention, I wonder if I can start with who are you? Yeah, you could. Who are you? I would share that and see, maybe it resonates with some, or some might not resonate. I would be more interested in hearing from them, have them express themselves, like what speaks to you, what resonates for you, what's of significance, what is it that is of significance that is unfolding in your life, and what gives it significance, how is it significant to you. And I don't know whether it's possible, I don't know how many people you're meeting with, but if it's possible, I don't know, to engage in some sort of dialogue with them about what is their perception about themselves, about the world, about what's significant, for them, what's significant in the world, and sort of take it from there. But what is your intention is also very important. What is your intention? They need to define themselves as a person to offer this beautiful teaching. Maria, life is such a wonderful mystery. It's magical. It is quite magical. And it's quite amazing. And the celebration of this wonder that we refer to as life is a wonderful celebration when we are celebrating together as one ocean. And then what is this ocean? Is it an ocean of people? Is it an ocean of minds? What is the ocean? There is what you perceive, but there is that perceives. What is it that perceives? Maybe the ocean is beyond what is perceived. And maybe that's a celebration. The celebration of our oceanhood. You know, in many societies, there is a great emphasis on becoming somebody, on becoming successful, on making it, there is so much emphasis on the person. And it's so full of anxiety. What am I going to do with my life? Am I going to succeed and fail and study in degrees and study hard, work hard? There's so much emphasis on that. And it's done at a great price, at a great sacrifice, which is all these concerns and worries and thoughts. So there has to be some sort of balance in a way between living, having some concerns, meaning some concerns. I wouldn't say concerns, to be looking at what interests us, and what makes us happy. Because it's really important not to sacrifice our happiness, because happiness is at the heart level. It's not at the body-mind level. So follow your happiness, not just your mind about what you need to do, what you need to become, but listen at the deeper level as well. Maybe you can share that explore that. It's a conversation. Nice to see you, Maria. Beautiful. Looks like you're in a very lovely place there with the... I say, yes, very nice. That Eco Villa, okay, the Eco Villa, beautiful. I don't know it, but it looks very lovely. Beautiful. Enjoy, Maria. Nice to see you. Okay. Okay, sure, it'd be very nice to visit. I would love that. Tara and I would love that. Yeah, this, becoming somebody is some sort of disease in our society. To become somebody, to become successful, it's always becoming. But yes, what am I? What am I? What is it that's becoming? What is it to become? What is it to become? How can you be somewhere else or somebody else? It's just isness, the beingness, becoming is some mental fiction. Hello, Smith BC. Hello, good to see you. You ask, Barbara, can you talk a bit about surrender? I've recently felt a strong desire to surrender that person that have worked so hard to become. How do I unbecome that? Well, Barbara, you unbecome that by realizing that you have never been that. You have never been a person. So, in understanding that, the unbecoming is done. In a way, you don't have to unbecome that you have never been. You have never been a person, so you do not need to unbecome a person. You have never been Santa Claus, although you have been wearing the Santa Claus outfit. Just understand that you have never been Santa Claus. Now, there is a process by which the impression of being a person that arises at the feeling level. That maintains the impression at the feeling level that I am a person. There is a process, a way of welcoming those sensations. I'm using the word sensation, not feelings. I'm referring very specifically to these impressions as bodily sensations. To invite these bodily sensations to dissolve in the space that perceives them. Everything that arises in the space of awareness. There are bodily sensations that refer to an impression of me. And these bodily sensations, once you understand them and perceive them to be bodily sensations, you've already taken a certain distance from them. You've moved from the feeling that I'm a person to the perception of me sensations, meaning sensations that refer to a me, to a person. You are perceiving them. And the you that is perceiving them is infinite. is infinite presence, infinite space, infinite beingness. So those sensations, they arise in this infinite aware space, and nothing is containing them. There are no walls to these sensations, so they can dissolve in the space. What remains is the formless, infinite aware space, the formless aware presence that is available to you 24/7. The borderless aware space of presence. Don't try so hard at the mind level. Invite the thoughts and the sensations of personhood without struggling with them to expand in the borderless space that perceives them. You are this restful space. You are the peace, the stillness, the silence that is beyond the mind. The vastness of being. That's your true nature. That's the reality. The I, the true I, is not a form, is not a man or a woman. The true I is consciousness. Everything arises in consciousness, out of consciousness. Like the breath arises in the body, out of the body. So, as we forget our wholeness, we experience the personhood, we experience the limitation, but we love the love. We love love. We love freedom. We love joy. So we can't stay with that sense of limitation, so we let it go. We don't hold it. We don't hold what's unhappy. We just open our hands and let it just pass through. We remain open, untouched. Transparent. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for your lovely company. Namaste, and we'll see you again soon. Very lovely. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Holly, Lawrence, Maru, Richard.
Goodbye.
Everybody. Okay, see you soon.